almost ready to count Trump out, and I no longer feel that way. I feel like I think that he's probably riding at like a 40% chance of victory now. And I think that what he's going to do is he's going to start doing things like this eviction moratorium, and he's going to keep doing things like that right up at the cusp of the election, man. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he finds a way to get checks out to people on October 31st. Like, you know what I mean? Like, with his big name on, like, that's the kind of game plan that I think he's rocking with. And I think he's going to, and honestly, I don't know if it'll work or not, but I do think that there are a lot more people that are supporting Trump perhaps than we initially think. And I also did see one thing that was kind of like shook me, because I was like, oh my God, this is probably going to happen. And I want to say that I saw it when I was watching like Secular Talk or something, but the people had like the graphs up of the model for the election, where on the day one it shows like Trump has won by a landslide.
Oh, the
and
Axios video where it shows
the Axios video, yeah.
Mirage, yeah.
A mirage, by definition, is something that appears to be there, but that doesn't really exist. And you have a model scenario called the red mirage. What does that mean?
The reason we talk about a red mirage is, in fact, because we believe that on election night, we are going to see Donald Trump in a stronger position than the reality actually is.
Yeah, that should.
What do you think about that? Because I think that there is a really high likelihood that something like that could happen.
Yeah, I do too. I think that's entirely possible. And we're just going to really have to see if Trump, actually tries to get his supporters to take to the streets and start shit over it, because I think Trump will use any excuse possible to try to just call himself the winner and move on and try to, claim victory as soon as he possibly can. And I've even seen like Facebook saying they're going to not verify any post of his or any post that tries to, declare a winner before a winner is announced, because that's ultimately the fear, is that similarly to how Fox News called the election for George Bush.
Yeah, dude, that's what I think is going to happen. Yeah. They're definitely going to call it for Trump on night one, man.
And then after all of his supporters, realize that in fact that's not the case, but they've already accepted that it is, then that's not going to be. Donald
Trump is not Al Gore. He is not going to go down like that. You know what I mean? Like, Al Gore was like, I respect the decision of the whatever. Like, I respect our government. But, like, he was like, and then when everybody, like, they had that whole, like, scene where everybody called him, like, Mr. President when they were, like, in protest or whatever. Do you remember that? Like, clip that I think Michael Moore used it one time?
Yep. He didn't pursue the court case against it. He didn't really try to.
And then it was only black. I believe it was only. Let's see, what was it? It was only black state representatives that were willing to speak out against it in the House, and they didn't have a Senate co-sponsor because there was no African American representation in the Senate, and nobody was willing to cross the aisle to support these people. So you have the heroes once again, Barbara Lee up there, demanding that their district's vote be represented. And
luckily, the one thing I will say is that even if Trump does try to pull this kind of shit, which I don't doubt he will, I do feel like there is an increasingly genuine bipartisan consensus, for better or worse, that Joe Biden is who the establishment wants in the presidency now, not Donald Trump. I think that Donald Trump is mostly in this for himself at this point, whereas Joe Biden is in this for the oligarchs. Like they have his back. They've decided that he's going to be the best vehicle to lead the country to the point where it's not going to be destroyed. They realize what Donald Trump is doing to us, to our, foreign image, to the things that they care about. And I think that, a lot of the elites, a lot of the establishment, they wanted Bush to be president because they knew he would continue the Iraq war. They knew he would continue his foreign policy. But Trump hasn't really given them, he got them their tax cut. But besides that, like, I think most people on both sides of the aisle at this point honestly wanted to be Joe Biden. So if it came down to it, I don't think that, like, they would let that happen. I don't think they would
that's what I think also.
Assume office and stay there. And ultimately, I do think the military would probably end up taking Biden's side if it does look like
if there was a coup type deal, like in the back. Yeah.
I think they would side with Biden.
Dude, the Bush family's already sided with Biden.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Trump is just too stupid to like orchestrate something of this magnitude to actually pull off like a stealing an election in this kind of a grand way. And what's really scary more than anything is just how crazy his supporters are, and the fact that they might really try to cause a ruckus or, do some like terror attacks or something insane like that because they get so riled up by, especially like the QAnon people. That's something that's like been brewing for years now that no one wants to talk about. But we have a whole sect of the GOP that believes there's already an active coup trying to happen against Donald Trump by the deep state. So these people, that's just whatever happens in November. If it's not what they want, it's going to basically vindicate their deranged conspiracy theory, and that's going to lead a lot of those people to, start to have very patriotic delusions of how they need to defend their country and their president from the, socialist coup that's taking place before their eyes. So that's what really scares me. I don't think Trump is sophisticated enough to pull off an actual coup or to actually, falsify or to, claim fraud of election. People know that. I mean, people have been voting with mail-in ballots for years. It's not like it's some. I hope more people vote in person than is being predicted. Like, I am not down to wait a week to find out who the next who won the race. I am hoping for instant on the night.
It's not going to happen. If they call it on the night, they're calling it for Trump. That's the reality.
I don't know. I think more people are going to vote in person than we realize. I think more people are doing shit than. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. I think a lot of older people who are going to be people that are probably going to vote for Biden, because I do think that the one demographic that Trump really hurt himself with is the older demographic with his COVID response. I think that's something that people are really unhappy about. Like I've been reading articles about from the perspective of old people who haven't left their homes in like 8 months and whatever. And they're like, this isn't like we're still here, we're still living. Like we need like a solution that you know what I mean? And I think that's the way that a lot of elderly Americans would be feeling. Yeah. That would be the way I would be feeling. I'd be pissed off. I'd probably be like, fuck it, I'm ready to risk my life and get the fuck out of this place. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that's going to come around to bite Trump in the ass because old people vote, and old people are going to vote by mail.
Agreed. I just hope it's not. I just hope it's like enough people go to the. I don't know if I buy the fact that 90% more people that are going to go to the ballot box in person are going to be Republican than Democrat.
No, but I think it'll be like 50 or 60.
Yeah, that's fair, and it is true in a lot of those swing states. It's going to be really close, so it's going to be
like Pennsylvania, Michigan.
Yeah.
Perhaps Florida because of the old population. Like this is just the kind of stuff that do you think Trump will get Texas, or do you think he'll lose Texas? For a while it was looking like he might lose.
I think he'll get Texas. But what I was going to say is that I'm just glad it's not. I mean, I wish it was Bernie, but if it was Bernie in this situation, there is no doubt that both Trump and the media hand in hand would use this as an excuse to hand Trump the presidency and fuck over Bernie. We're lucky in a sense that the media and the establishment is on Biden's side and not Trump's, because like I said, I don't think Trump is going to be able to pull off stealing the election because the establishment wants Biden so bad. But if it was like Bernie, then I absolutely think they would use this. The hand in hand, the establishment and the media would hand in hand use this to, hand Trump 4 years instead of giving it to Bernie.
Yeah, we'll see.
You know what I'm saying?